Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Before one word is spoken of teaching, I ask permission of the ancestors who were here at the beginning, the ones who cast their eyes upon this first, all that you see here, the Gaia energy, the ones whose eyes landed upon it first, and they gave it names and energy. I call upon them for permission to speak. And you will be hearing, dear ones, more of this permission to speak. The greeting is given, for it's safe. And I want to remind you where you are and what has taken place in the meetings that are specific and different that I've asked my partner and his friends to organize. There is a theme here. There's only been 4 Gaia conferences, and every single one of them started the way this one has started. That is with an honor of those who were here first. But more than that, I want you to see their theme. Every single one has the same story about who they talk to and who they call upon and who they honor. And it's their ancestors. Everyone. It happened in Maya country. The Maya are astronomers. And in their temples, you can see who it is they honor. It is the ones that came before them that gave them the information so that they could continue with the wisdom that they have for the earth. When you meet the Rapa Nui and you see the Moai around the island, they're all facing inward and they represent the ancestors watching over them. It's all about the ancestor. In Uluru, it was the same. For the ancestors are called on first. And it's the condition of the ancestors and their permission before anything gets done. And you saw it again here. The Maori are the same as the others with the honor of who was here. And I present this because, dear ones, on this planet right now, the majority of humanity has forgotten the ancestors. And it's not that hard. And there will be those who say, well, we're not of a pure lineage. We don't have really any ancestors we can think of, not like those you've mentioned, Kryon. We're from many countries. We're a conglomeration of peoples from many areas. How would we then honor our ancestors? Each one of you has a lineage. And you don't have to be specific and go find it and study it to know that there are wise ones in that lineage. Those are your ancestors. Not only that, if you believe, as so many do, everywhere you've gone, that you return to the pond. And what I mean by that is that you are reborn. Perhaps your soul returns. That means that you are your own ancestor. And if you start thinking in these terms, you have a lineage of wisdom from the beginning. Honor Lemuria as your ancestors. Go back as far as you wish. Honor the ones from the ocean as your ancestors. They're the original. And that's what this is about. Dear ones, their ancestors honored Gaia. And the partnership between the ancestors and Gaia is renowned. Every society knows it and continues it in their own way. This is the modern teaching of now. That there is a way for the new human to do this, even living in a modern society. Every morning awakening, putting their feet upon the ground and thank you, ancestors. Thank you, Gaia. Your partners are active. The energy is still here. Don't ignore them. We'll talk more of this. This is the blessing for these meetings, for this Gaia Global Consciousness Retreat. I am Kryon, in love with humanity, for good reason. And so it is. Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. The group today joins together the beginning of a conference series to celebrate that which is inside them. And so many don't know. So many don't know what it is. For over 2 decades, I have been giving you information about how grand the human being is. The beauty that is inside is filled with compassion, with history, with action, with sorrow. And now it starts to reform itself, a new paradigm of existence with yourself. And the last channels have spoken of this so often. But before we even continue, it takes a while, sometimes in channel, for humans who sit here to adjust. The adjustment is in a softer reality, out of judgment, where you start to relax with everything. If this is indeed the voice of Spirit, a benevolence from beyond the veil, if love indeed is pouring into this place at this moment, if you'll allow it, if that's so, it's going to change the energy. You sit and you listen and you learn. That's one paradigm. But slowly you understand, you sit, and you're not alone. And some of you are starting to feel the reality of beauty. And these words in these moments of safety and sereneness, of forgiveness. Forgiveness of what you believe you have put upon yourself. A pliability that you didn't have before. And those who would come in full judgment and doubt would have the opportunity just for a moment to release it and examine if this is real or not. The messages of Kryon always enhance a human. Always. There's never a critique of the family. There's only that which celebrates the family and gives information about new things. And tells the family about things that don't need to be there anymore. Sometimes I'll give a plea to see things finally and clearly that have always been there in front of you. And I'll say it again, you've got to drop the shell that you think you need to walk around that protects you, for instance, from what you don't know. Under the guise of survival, what you don't know is dangerous. That's not so. What if what you don't know is healing and compassion and beauty and love? And you think you know about it because you've had others who showed it to you, or you've had children that you shared it with, but never with yourself. To drop that bubble of protection just for a few days and say it's okay. The earth is going to shift, dear ones, and it will take a while. It has begun, and it will take a while. What you learn today that is emotional and compassionate and that sticks in you, that is cognized, what you learn today is going to sit in your DNA. And dear ones, you're going to pick it up again when you return. You're not going to make the mistakes you made before. You're going to come in with more compassion, understanding, and awareness, and a new energy that has been renewed because of you. How does it feel to construct the roads today that when you return, dear ones, in a new life, you drive on them? To be the own architects of the future that you will participate in. And that is what we speak of now. But it's not going to happen unless you allow the shell of the old survival to soften a bit. How many times have we said, let us in? The family knocks at the door. It's esoteric. It may be strange. There are those who say, I can't go there. I just can't because it's just too odd. They say, prove to me that these things exist. And I will say to that human, prove love to me. You can't. It exists. You feel it. You participate in it. Your joy factor. Prove joy to me. You can't. All you can do is laugh. There are certain things that are beyond that which is linear proof. And right now you're sitting in one of them. An event that says it's safe here. Very safe. It's a good time to start softening the shell, because when you do that, all manner of things are going to come flying in. The shell stops healing. Did you know that? Because you've made up your mind what is real, what is not, and that's pasted in the shell. And when the shell starts to be permeable, and a few holes, perhaps you even drop it, in will come the things that you've asked for and affirmed, situations that change. Is it the first time you've ever been told that you are your own worst enemy? The shell keeps everything inside. Dear ones, this is the opportunity to experiment with it. I know who's here. It's not easy. Having thousands of lifetimes of defending yourself from an older energy to suddenly come to a meeting and be told it's okay to stop. Bells will ring inside to say that's not true, it's got to be fake, what's going to happen? What are they trying to do to me? I know who's here. And so I say to you, do it slowly, trust yourself, open the doors one at a time. And as you do, you're going to feel safety come in. The compassion that God has for you is far grander than you are aware of or can feel. And if you've had the shell, it just bounces right off. It's time to soften your heart in this new energy for a reality of the new human. The masters of the planet had no shell at all. They felt 24/7 the joy, the celebration of the love and the compassion of the Creator. It's all they could do to contain themselves in their compassion for those around them. Sometimes a master would look frustrated. Sometimes you'd see them weeping. And it wasn't because of the conditions of the humans around them. It was because the humans around them weren't aware of the beauty. It's like the light was so bright, but all around them were blind because they wouldn't open their shell. That's the frustration of a master. To love humanity so much and see they're so in the dark and know that it's free choice. All free choice. Tonight we're going to give you a message in the next 2 days as well. They'll fit together. But there are always ones that enhance every single human. You really haven't made any mistakes, dear ones, not to us. You've simply learned to be a human. Let the learning be complete onto the new paradigm, the new human, the new learning. And leave all of the things behind that are kindergarten, that you never have to learn again, that are in an old, primal, survival mode. Become elegant and let us in. And you'll find the family comes in and the ancestors will speak. Before I go, I thank you and the ancestors for permission for this. It was given this morning with the call. I'll always, always ask, even if it's silent, because this is pristine ground where Gaia is king. And so it is.
Well, shining, beautiful family, let's use these few minutes together to really tune into the depth and the breadth of this land that we are here to experience. For those of you that live here, I can only imagine. And thank you for sharing your land and your water and your air and your stars with all of us who don't have that pleasure. So in a meditative way, let's prepare for the channel. So if you'd like to put your feet on the floor, close your eyes for a moment, and just take a full, nice, deep breath in. And feel yourself settle into the now, into this moment, into receiving. Feel your body just softening and becoming much more present. And breathe again, in through your nose. Exhale. And let your consciousness come down into your heart. Let it drop down from your thoughts into your heart with each breath in and out. Touching that place in the center of you, that sacred place, that place that knows you so well, that place that can teach, that place that loves. And from this beautiful, tender place in your heart, feel the energy of the entourage in the room. The Kryon entourage, the ancient ones of this land, the ancestors that join us, the ancestors that we are. And just allow them to come be around you. sitting in the chair with you, next to you, in front and behind you, holding you in the arms of love, holding your heart, holding your soul. And let yourself just settle back into those arms, receiving the wisdom, the love, the compassion, the energy, and the light of this land and of Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. We wish to honor the conference and the subjects of the conference by those who have created it. Indeed, it was intuition that pushed the human beings to create a conference series which would honor the planet. The Indigenous, who came first? The wisdom and the ancestors. Like no other conferences, connecting the dots from place to place in honor of the land, the energy, and those who were first. And so we look at that which is Gaia. And as we have done before, we will create a theme for each channel. And the theme will be guided by a letter. As we spell Gaia, the letter G. Now you would think, well, it's a Gaia conference. Kryon is spelling Gaia. G will be Gaia. And it isn't. There are many channels that are filled with information. People will listen and wish to take notes, perhaps, and later listen again. And there'll be explanations that are new. The way things that are working in a new energy, perhaps even potentials that are undiscovered. Concepts and paradigms that we have given you that start to enhance that which humanity can do. Not this one. This is a channel of awareness, complete and total discovery and awareness. I want you to think about what we are discussing. Now we stop for a moment again to say thank you to the ancestors for their permission to be here to discuss these things on their land. To sit and enjoy and celebrate their land. The ancestors as far back as they go, the Lemurians on their land. So long ago, so far. And yet, dear ones, to us it was yesterday. There'll come a time when time is relative. Even to humanity, time will start to shift as it becomes more variable and understandable to those who can manipulate physics itself. That is cryptic. Just a saying that humanity will reach a point, as it has in the past, in other planets, where literally there will be no more electronics or equipment. It'll all be internal and natural. But right now, dear ones, you deal with intuition, exposure, awareness, and we wish to paint a picture to you. And for you. The letter G is going to stand for genealogy. What is your genealogy? in the most general form, I can ask you, where did you come from? What is the presumption of where you came from? Now, there would be those who are not spiritual at all and say, well, we evolved from those who were cavemen. The ones who are spiritual said, well, even you, Kryon, said we came from the stars. The creation stories all over the planet will tell you of a first time, where it started, the spark. But that's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you where your awareness came from. I didn't ask you about your Akash. I asked you about your cellular structure. Where did it come from? And there are those who say, well, it must have come from the stars. It must have come from this and that. It's life. Absolutely. Where did life come from? It must have come from somewhere else. Oh, really? What is your genealogy? The cells in your body, the very structure of elegance called DNA. Where did it come from? And the presumption is yet again, well, it came from the stars. No, it didn't. It was enhanced from the stars. But DNA was here. Everything was here before there was ever any kinds of seeds planted of awareness from anywhere. If you believe in the story of the Garden of Eden, you have two human beings looking just like you, receiving something. Where did they come from? What is your genealogy? Then you start tracking it back and say, well, where did all things come from that are living? Now you're getting closer. 1 million years before the Pleiadians came. How about 2 million? How about 3? And you start realizing that that which is in your body has come from lower life forms as it grew to that place that you could call humanity. Indeed, it evolved. Human beings were not placed here by another race. The awareness in your DNA was placed here, but not you. You're a product of Gaia. Paint the picture even more fully. Now you're down to small animals. It became big animals and then small animals again. What happened there? Starts and stops of life on the planet. You were part of that. Your genealogy can start to be tracked back chemically to single-cell life on the planet. The first life that ever was here. Where did that come from? Now it gets complicated. Scientists start to understand what is that which would create the spark of life. And they have looked at this over and over and have realized that the soup which came together perfectly to create life was always part of the elements of the earth. Oddly enough, it was part of your weather, electricity and lightning, the chemicals on the planet, and the magnetic grid. And the magnetic grid, did you hear that part? And coming together in certain ways over eons of time, the spark of life would start. It had to be just right. Go study it. You came from the elements. As history would tell you, it didn't last. It had to start again because it was not self-sustaining. The system wasn't created, simply life was. There were 5 starts and stops of life until it became self-sustaining in a system. And that required photosynthesis. Trees, bushes. You see where I'm going here? Who is your parent? Who is your genealogy? Where is it? What are the chemicals? Where are they? Right up to your DNA through these millions of years. Where is the parent? That is Gaia. The dirt of the earth. The elements came together to produce you. Long before awareness, the great ancestor is the earth. And the presumptions never go there, do they? You're always being created from the stars, the awareness. You don't even think about, what about before awareness? The earth has created the spark of life on purpose, on time, on schedule. It was delayed for a long time, on purpose, on schedule, so that that life would develop into multicellular forms, eventually creating the human being, allowing then awareness to be part of you. Genealogy doesn't start with Adam and Eve. It starts with the dirt of the earth. Study it. See what the scientists say, and they all agree. It started by itself. The elements mixed together just right. Electricity, magnetics, chemicals. To start life itself. The odd thing about humans and how you see yourselves is another presumption. When you look into the vastness of space, and all you see is other materials just like yours, and yet you will not allow for other life. You're in a bubble. It's another shell. When you leave the room and you look outside at the majesty of the dirt, of the mountains, of the lakes, of the sun, you're looking at your genealogy. You started there. And it's about time you realize that. Mother Earth was called that for a reason. It is the mother of all life. Gaia started it. And now we are asking you to return to Gaia. Honor Mother Earth. Look at it as the ancestor that it is, and not just a clump of rocks or beautiful mountains or trees. You understand that the system, when it finally occurred and worked, required that the trees give you oxygen. Had to. Otherwise, it never would have sustained you. Not only did the planet give birth, it gave sustenance. And then it fed you. And the system began so that one day you could sit here like this with full awareness from the stars of who you are, how you were created, and what's next for the galaxy. Your genealogy is the dirt, the elements, all it is. Return to this awareness and understand. And now you know why all of the indigenous all over the planet honor something. It's not just Mother Earth. They honor the directions. The magnetic grid is honored, east, west, north, south. The very elements of the planet. And some say, well, how quaint they're doing this. It's not quaint, it's divine wisdom. They know their genealogy. Do you? It's not a secret. It's just been forgotten. when you start allying the energies of the planet, things start changing for you. It's a system that has always been there to enhance your consciousness, where the grids are laid and the portals lie, all in cooperation from Pachamama, Mother Earth. And so we begin the conference with that, the letter G. And a reminder to you of who the main mother is and the ancestor for that which is inside you at the cellular level. It's beautiful, isn't it? That such a thing could be, and you could sit here and honor it. Some of you still have trouble with this. You go outside and all you see is pretty things. I want you to listen for the voices. Not in English. Listen for the voices of love that are all there, that say, we are part of you. You are part of us. Isn't it grand? And so it is.